start with the NBA. James Harden made his debut for the Philadelphia 76ers over the weekend. The anticipated debut after, of course, coming off the All-Star weekend. So let me first say this. So James Harden began his 76er career very young on Friday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They blew them out, 133-102. The guy casually drops 27 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists on 7 of 12 shooting. 5 for 7 from the three-point line in about 35 minutes. He followed that up against the New York Knicks yesterday, a team that the 76ers beat 126-109 or 125-109, with another near triple-double, with a triple-double, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 16 assists on 8 of 14 shooting, 10 for 10 from the free throw line, 5 steals in 39 minutes. Now, let me say this. It's unfortunate that James Harden is no longer in New York or didn't get traded to LA, because he might be the best actor in Hollywood right now. I think he's elevated himself from not only being an A-list basketball player to also being an A-list actor, because the about face that he put on from looking like someone who was disinterested, who was unmotivated, who wanted to play uninspired basketball for the Brooklyn Nets all year long, to being able to theoretically just shed all that weight instantaneously and transform himself back into James Harden, that may deserve an Oscar for that type of performance. It was like someone had used a defibrillator and jolted him back to life. And all of a sudden, he's James Harden again. That's what it looked like watching him. And it's amazing to see when he actually is playing in an environment where he is motivated, the types of performances he can conjure up versus how he decides to play and how he chooses to play when he's in a situation that is less favorable for him or he is disinterested in. Because he looked like he could have been out of shape with the Nets. He was injury prone. It seemed like he had the world's and the NBA history's longest hamstring injury that we've ever seen, that apparently had to sideline him for weeks on end. And now he comes back 2 weeks later out of the All-Star break in his first weekend with the 76ers, and it's a slam dunk. It's a home run. And so I will give James Harden this much credit. Whenever we've counted him out physically, whether it's his conditioning, whether it's his endurance, when he was with the Houston Rockets, and even now with the Brooklyn Nets, every single time we've tried to find little areas of his game to critique his physical appearance and claim that he's done, claim that he's got no more juice left in the tank, no more gas left in the tank. To his credit, he manages to quash those concerns within the first couple games of every single new team. Once he reaches his new destination that he is seeking, he is a different player. He's a different player, at least in the regular season so far. And so, again, what's been obvious so far is a lot of this is dictated on what type of James Harden wants to showcase. And that's so far what's been extremely apparent, is that the situations where he is unhappy, where he is frustrated by his teammates, where he feels a certain lack of respect and dedication towards the game, you see two different James Hardens. It's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of situation. So now his body language all of a sudden is great. He's excited to be there. You could see the elation that he has celebrating with his teammates. He's supporting his teammates. And he and Joel Embiid have been fitting beautifully so far through the first 2 games. Now, I will concede the fact that it was just against the Timberwolves, and the New York Knicks. But James Harden now provides the 76ers with a new element offensively that they've never had. And that's an elite perimeter scorer who can attract defenders and attract defenders away from Joel Embiid. And that's the big thing, because James Harden's ability to play make, to create on the perimeter, and to be able to draw defenders away from the lane, to provide Joel Embiid with a lot more freedom to operate in the post, is something that he's never experienced, and something that the 76ers haven't experienced in quite some time, and perhaps ever in their franchise's history. So James Harden right now, you're seeing the benefits of playing with a guy like that, who also enables someone like Tobias Harris to slide into his more comfortable position as the number 3 scorer on the team, as opposed to the number 2 scorer, which essentially was the case when Ben Simmons was there, when Seth Curry was on the team. Tobias Harris was asked to be the second best creator on the floor. Now he can slide into his more natural position, I think, as a number 3 scorer. And then you combine those 3 players with a Tyrese Maxey, who's been playing extremely well. The guy's showing all kinds of promise, really starting to come into his own. And even though he's not going to get as many shot attempts as he perhaps would have otherwise gotten if James Harden wasn't there, I still think the two can coexist. And you've got not Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle on the perimeter, an elite defender. You still have Shake Milton coming off the bench. So you've got a little bit more depth. You've got some more playmaking that perhaps you didn't have. And so far we're seeing it. And again, granted, this is the regular season. We've seen this elite version of James Harden before in the regular season, although there have been a lot of times this year and last year where we've been led to believe that he no longer possessed those types of superheroic performances. Now we're starting to see he can. The question is, if he can showcase this in the postseason, if this can translate into the postseason with this version of Joel Embiid, then I agree that scary hours will be back in Philly once again. Because so far, they look like they're going to be a nightmare, and it seems like their chemistry is only going to continue to build after every single game. So, really impressive starting debut for James Harden with the 76ers.